Well, hello, boys and girls. It's when I feel like at o'clock, and I'm Pearl of Wisdom here, and you're listening to my NHL Pearls of Wisdom. Yes, yes, you are. Um, what I want to talk about today is the conundrum of where Erik Karlsson may go after the season's over. I know the playoffs are still going on. If you watched the game today, I don't remember, I don't even know what day it is. I just woke up. But it's Sunday. It was a Sunday afternoon game. Karlsson is having again what looks like growing issues, which I can appreciate. I've had growing issues my whole life, um, probably for different reasons. But anyways, so there's no way San Jose is going to be able to sign him. I could go through and explain why, but they simply just don't have the cap space, and they don't have, unless they don't sign Pavelski and sign him, it's not likely that that's going to happen. This is going to be a difficult process. It's going to have to be a team that I believe is going to have to be a team that's a little bit desperate. The team that seems to be on everybody's list as the number one team to do so is the Tampa Bay Lightning. And at one time, I would say that that was likely the case. There was a lot of things that the Tampa Bay Lightning would have been willing to do to get Karlsson. But now, when you're having these injury problems, and you've got a cap structure that Tampa Bay does, so this is basically something that would have to happen. First of all, they're going to sign Braden Point. Braden Point's probably going to command about $10 million a year. They have about $10 million in cap space. So, signing him is going to put them capped out right away. They also still have to sign Mikhail Sergachev. And as far as defense is concerned, they're not loaded for who's coming up. So I don't think it's possible that they're going to trade a guy like Sergachev. They're probably going to sign him, which leaves them with the probability of having to, and they're probably already going to have to do this, trade people like Tyler Johnson, maybe TJ Miller, Alex Killorn, and also try to find a place for Callahan. Now, if you want to find a place for Callahan, it's going to cost you a pick just to get rid of that cap hit. That's a lot to have to go through to get a guy who's going to probably command about $10 million a year. With his injury issues, he might not get the 8 years that he was hoping for. But at $10 million a year for a guy who may or may not be injured, I think Tampa Bay's going to bow out of this. You've also got to sign Andrei Vasilevsky for a long-term contract. I just can't see Tampa Bay being the team that's going to pick him up. So where might he go? Well, I'll go quickly. You got the New York Islanders, and I could go through their cap space. They've got plenty of it, and they have plenty of options. The thing is, Lamoriello has never been a guy who swings for the fences all that much, unless he thinks it's going to be a cup coming that year. I don't see a cup coming the New York Islanders' way next year. They have guys they have to sign like Lee and Lehner and so on and so forth like that. Could they use a guy like him to better their team? Absolutely. But Lamoriello's not a guy that's going to throw the dice on somebody who's injured, especially for $10 million a year. I can't see it happening. The other possibility would be the Montreal Canadiens. Montreal Canadiens have a ton of cap room. They do have a couple people to sign. It makes sense in Karlsson's spot because his wife is from Ottawa, so you'd be close to Montreal. The problem is you've got $20 million wrapped up in two players, and again, you've got the injury issue of Karlsson. It's going to be It's going to be kind of hanging over his head in any negotiation he does. I have a feeling that they're going to go after guys like Duchesne, or probably more like Duchesne. That's where they're going to be focusing their efforts on. They're not in a position to be winning a cup tomorrow. So getting a guy like Karlsson, it might be 3 years, and Karlsson's getting up there at that time. If he's having injury problems right now, it's a little iffy on whether they're going to throw that kind of money out there. The Detroit Red Wings have the cap space, but they're not ready to sign somebody like that. So what team would be? I think you've got two teams, maybe three. The Columbus Blue Jackets, the New Jersey Devils, and the Florida Panthers. The New Jersey Devils have tons of cap room. They've got the number one pick this year. They're going to be bringing up Hughes. This is a team that's going to be competitive very, very quick. I could see them putting a play in for Karlsson. They could be ready sooner than you think, and I think they could be ready sooner than you think. I could see them doing it. The Columbus Blue Jackets. This is a team that needs to stay in the playoffs. They've shown this year that they are willing to go all out to make the playoffs. They're probably going to lose Bobrovsky. They're probably going to lose Panarin, and I think they're probably going to lose Duchesne. Throwing $10 million at Karlsson wouldn't be a bad way to make their fans feel at ease that they're continuing on trying to make the playoffs. The thing is, they've got Seth Jones, they've got Werenski. That's a lot of money to be throwing on a D-line that already is fairly good. They're probably going to be more interested in filling up their forward ranks with guys like Nyquist, building a depth team that Tortorella can work with, Zuccarello, stuff like that. And also going for the best goaltender they could go for. Maybe a guy like Lehner, throw him a ton, because they're going to need goaltending really quick. So, I think they'll make a play, but I don't think they're going to be all in. A team that just might be all in. Two teams that might be all in. The Florida Panthers and the St. Louis Blues. The Florida Panthers, they got to get goaltending, but they're also looking to sell tickets and win a cup. They need to put goaltending first. Are they going to throw money at Bobrovsky? The rumor is that they are. If they are going to throw $10 million at Bobrovsky, you can probably take Karlsson off the table. They could trade Hoffman. They could trade Matheson and maybe fill a role like that. I think it's something that they're going to seriously consider. A big name like that sells tickets, and Florida needs to sell tickets. I would not count them out. I think they're going to be, but the team that I really honestly think that is going to make a huge play, especially if they don't end up winning the cup this year, is the St. Louis Blues. Let me go to the St. Louis Blues here. The St. Louis Blues, oddly enough, are not in cap hell as much as a lot of people would think they are, going the direction they are. And a lot of that is because they have really good contracts for Vladimir Tarasenko. Ryan O'Reilly at 7.5 is not too shabby for what type of player he is. The thing is, they are going to have to sign Jaden Shorts in a couple of years. They have Steen wrapped up with a little too much money, but they have in cap space something like $7 or $8 million a year. They have only Fabry, Zach Sanford, and Vince Dunn to sign. They could not give an offer to Bouwmeester, who's only signed for 3.25. There's a lot of ways. They can find a place for Jake Allen. There's a lot of things they could do to get a player like that. And honestly, if they don't make the playoffs, a guy like Karlsson could put them over the top. And this is a team that is desperate to win a cup. Their owner is absolutely desperate to win a cup. This is a team that's willing to roll the dice to bring in a guy like Karlsson to put him over the top. So where do I think he's going to go? Karlsson, I think it's between two teams. I think it's the Florida Panthers and the St. Louis Blues. It's a toss-up in between which one of those will be. It all depends on if Florida can get Bobrovsky or somebody of that nature. If they can't get Bobrovsky, watch them to go heavy after Karlsson and look for some goaltending in a different way. Anyways, boys and girls, that's my full 42%. That's all I have to give. Oh, by the way, there's another reason why I say this. Karlsson's going to want to get as close to Ottawa as possible, but I don't see any team around that area except for possibly Florida. If it comes down between the two teams, Florida and St. Louis, if Florida stays in all the way, I think Florida is the place he'll go. Have a great day, and lots of love to ya.